Welcome to another edition of Inside Northeast Racing as we get ready to go with another week's rundown of the events this past weekend. Going to add another track to our coverage here this week, the Utica Rome Raceway, as Utica Rome Speedway opened up their doors for the first time here in 2013. A beautiful sunny day and a little bit of a breeze, but plenty of sunshine and plenty of brand new race cars to go around as the pits were full, the stands were full, and a lot of great racing on Sunday evening out at the Utica Rome Speedway. Taking a look around the pit area, Ronnie Johnson's 2 RJ, the 91 of Billy Decker, the 1, of course, Stewart Friesen. Hey, there's Jeff Rockefeller. He'll give you the thumbs up right back at you. Also, we've got events coming at you, the Lebanon Valley Sportsman. We're going to start off with Lebanon Valley Sportsman. It was their opener for 2013, the first event for the Sportsman, as the Green saw a full field. 36 sportsmen checked in on Saturday night down at the Valley of Speed, and a full field of cars took the green flag. As they came around, they were 2 and 3 wide back through the pack, and some great racing all the way through. Down here into the high banks, one car way up on the outside here as they worked their way down off of turn number 2. That was the 12 up on the high side of Peter Carlotto. Down towards turn number 3 now, we see one man starting to, well, let his presence be known. Down on the inside, teenage sensation Tyler Dipple invaded the high banks on Saturday night, and his presence was known, and it was known quickly. Here he is working his way into the top 5 in the early portion of the event. Watch that tie car number 1 car. That's Tyler Dipple, a regular down at the Accord Speedway and has been down at the Orange County Fair Speedway as well. But tonight, he invaded the high banks, and here's Dipple working his way down on Josh Gaylord, trying to crack into the top 2 spots. Right now, he rides 3rd behind Gaylord and Brandon Page, the early leader, the number 51 of Page. They're setting the pace. Here's Dipple making his way by Josh Gaylord for the runner-up position. Gaylord goes back to 3rd. See the 14 car of John Virgilio back there in the 4th spot as they work their way up in the East End banking. Wasn't long, and Dipple was going to challenge for the number 1 spot as they worked their way down here into turn number 1. Dipple on the low line, the slower car up ahead. He will work lower than the slow car, and along with him comes Page, the 27, up on the high side of Gaylord. Now he will battle with Page for second, and while they battle for second, Tyler Dipple ready to check out on this field. Young Dipple up on the front. Here's the 14 once again, John Virgilio. He'll crack the top 3 now. That'll be at the expense of Page. Brett Hearn in the Sportsman? No. Matt Papa, young teenage driver as well, under the tutelage of Brett Hearn, and a lot of noise was made for Matt Papa that night too. So it was the young guns. Here's the number 1 of Dipple up on the front. Papa had made his way into the top 5 from starting 25th. As they came down to checkers, Tyler Dipple would pick up the victory. Dipple got the win over John Virgilio, Josh Gaylord, Matt Papa, and Tommy Johnson, your top 5 on Saturday night in the Sportsman at Lebanon.
Tyler, didn't take very long at all for you to get to mid-pack from the front. You've been the fastest car all night. You were fastest in practice. You got to be happy out here with this win.
Oh, yeah, the car was going great. It just started 14th, I think. Got up to first by lap 10 or something like that. The car was going awesome.
Who would you like to thank on your win tonight?
Well, we'd like to thank Ray Ohms Towing and Recovery for coming aboard once again here. Well, from Lebanon Valley, we'll take a trip down to the Fonda Speedway. Stay in the Sportsman division. The Sportsman main event down at the Track of Champions saw John Scarborough bring him down to the green here. Scarborough up on the front with the number 61, along with the 1M of Mark Mortensen as they work their way down here through turns 1 and 2. Mortensen trying to lead the first lap around as they go down into turn number 3. Scarborough looking up on the high side, Mortensen on the inside, and 1 lap in the books. Mortensen, your leader of that first lap. Well, we see a lot more of that as Mortensen exercising his muscle up on the front and Scarborough trying to take it away. Here he does for a period as Scarborough takes the number 1 position away. Mortensen dedicated to the inside line. Scarborough working up on the high side as they work off at turn number 2. Well, they flip-flopped, and here you go. Mortensen on the high side, but here he'll change lanes and try and take the low line down into turn number 3, leaving Scarborough up on the high side. Mortensen certainly knows his way around the track of champions, and here he was sweeping the track looking for the best possible line there for the Jumpin' Jacks number 1M car. They work off at turn number 2. Mortensen would make the pass and make it stick as they work down towards turn 3. The veteran, Scarborough, coming back at him as they work down here. 2 past track champions duking it out up on the front here in the Sportsman main. Mark Mortensen going to bring him down here in the turn number 1. John Scarborough in the second position as they ran, and now they separate themselves. That was all she wrote as Mark Mortensen works his way now up on the outside. Some slower traffic down low, but Mortensen on his way to victory. Mark Mortensen would pick up the checkers, followed by John Scarborough. Ricky Quick would come across the line 3rd, Floyd Billington 4th, and Ray Zemkin rounding out your top 5. Another big thanks to Jack's Used Race Car Parts and More. Jackie Brown helping us out here once again. The Tinley Seal Coating folks, the Nug Nation sponsor, all behind us here in 2013. Heading down to the Orange County Fair Speedway, the hard clay. It was street stock action. Going to see some full fendered action down here. Charlie Donald, the 2012 champion, going to lead him down into turn number 1 with Emerson Cargain Sr. right there close in tow as they work their way down here on the backstretch. Now Cargain taking over the runner-up position as they work their way down towards turn 3. The street stocks, always entertaining at the Orange County Fair Speedway. And Donald, who looked to be, well, he was real strong on opening night. Looked like he might have picked one off on opening night trying to defend his championship. But a week ago, it was the 55 of Stephen Kammer. And here's Kammer flexing his muscles with the 55 car, going to work on Emerson Cargain. That's a race for 3rd spot right now as they work their way down here off of turn number 2, working their way down the backstretch. Up front, it was still the 24 on the point, Charlie Donald. Mike Vigiletti was right there with him, and Vigiletti has made his presence known. Here he runs in the top 5, hanging on to a top 5 spot. Charlie Donald out front, Stephen Kammer in second. That is where the way they ran when the checkers flew. Donald was your winner. Stephen Kammer finished second. Tim Russell came across the line 3rd. Emerson Cargain would finish 4th, and Ron Constable would round out your top 5. You see there a pretty jubilant Donald in the driver's compartment as they come under checkers. And Donald, in defense of his championship, the Jalopy Jet, goes to victory lane this past Saturday night at Middletown in the street stocks. Another one of our new sponsors, the Utica Rome Speedway. We'd like to thank Gene Cole for backing us here in 2013. And with that said, we're going to head out the Mohawk Valley to the Utica Rome Speedway, where it was sportsman action. This was Utica Rome's opening night on Sunday evening. Sportsman action out on the Utica Rome Speedway. And hey, there's Tyler Dipple's number 1, but behind the wheel, it was Jessica Zemkin. Jay-Z climbs behind the wheel of the Ty Car number 1 car. Dipple had run it in the heat race. Jessica Zemkin hopped in it in the main event, had to start dead last, 25th on the field. Gave it a good run, too. Made her way up inside the top 10. As they come down here, you can see out front, working his way up in front, the number 32 of Jeremy Vunk. Here's the 84 up on the front, the 84 Junior of Claude Hutchings Jr. And Claude, always a strong runner out there at Utica Rome. Here's Jessica Zemkin working the tie car number 1 car once again up through traffic. As we said, she started dead last, started 25th on the field, made her presence known, got up inside the top 10. Had some great racing up on the front of this one, though, as they worked their way off of turn number 2 here. Hutchings with the 84 Junior, Jeremy Vunk there with the 32. As they work down here into turn number 4, down on the front stretch, Vunk taking over the runner-up position as they come down into turn number 1. Some good side-by-side racing as they work up through the corner. After a caution, realigned here, a late race caution, they would be in single file fashion when they came down to the green. Again, it was Claude Hutchins going to bring him down to the green. A little wide this time goes Vunk. Vunk giving up the runner-up position for a brief time there. Here you can see Jay-Z has made her way up inside the top 10. Jessica working a low line there off of turn number 2. Other cars going side by side up ahead as they work their way down into turn number 3. Track surface coming up real fast, real smooth for an opening night venue as well, you can see here. But up front, the man that was not going to be set back here was Claude Hutchings. Here's the A1 of A.J. Philbeck. A.J. Philbeck completing the pass for the number 3 position as they worked their way down into turn number 3. Up front, as we said, it was all Claude Hutchings Jr. as Hutchings would show the way around here, bringing him down to the checkered flag. It was Claude Hutchings Jr., your opening night winner in the sportsman division at Utica Rome, followed across the line by Jeremy Vunk. A.J. Philbeck would finish 3rd, Matt Janzik 4th, and Steve Way rounded out your top 5 sportsman action at Utica Rome. Time for our weekly winner segment, sponsored by the New York State Stock Car Association, NISCA, as we know it. They've got a big fundraiser coming up, their 2013 NISCA Golf Outing, the 11th annual golf outing for NISCA. It's held at the Fairways of Half Moon Country Club in Mechanicville, New York. It's coming up on Thursday, May 16th. If you're interested in playing or sponsoring holes or sponsoring tees, you can check it out. You'll find their website, NISCA.com, or you can find them on Facebook for more information. That's the NISCA 11th Annual Golf Outing coming up on Thursday, May 16th. So back to NISCA's weekly winners. Here are the weekly winners from this week gone by. Starting off with Ruben Kennedy. In the street stock division at Fonda Speedway, Kenny Hollenbeck was the 4-cylinder single cam. Kerry Hollenbeck, the 4-cylinder dual cam. Pete Broderson in the pro stocks. The modified feature winner was Stewart Friesen. And as we just saw, Mark Mortensen picked up the checkers in the sportsman at Fonda. Now we head down to the Orange County Fair Speedway. Joe Conklin picked up the win down there. Also the 93H, the Jeffer, Jeff Hetzler, Gary Edwards Jr., the 358 modified victor, and Charlie Donald, the winner in the street stocks at Middletown. Head down to the Lebanon Valley Speedway. Lloyd Tomlin, one of the pure stock feature winners. Gary O'Brien, he also picked one up. Young Daniel Sanchez also picked up a feature event victory down there in the pure stocks. Rob Yetman, 2 for 2 in the pro stocks. And 2 for 2 in the modifieds, Brett Hearn. The invading driver, Tyler Dipple, picked up the sportsman win. That's the winners down at Lebanon Valley. Head out to Utica Rome, the tow. Tommy Denton picked up the pro stock victory. RJ, Ronnie Johnson, the winner in the modifieds. Claude Hutchings Jr., you saw he just won the sportsman event a few moments ago. And Ron Hawker chalked up another win in the pure stocks. That's all out at the Utica Rome Speedway. Thanks to NISCA for sponsoring our weekly winners segment every week here on Inside Northeast Racing. Back to racing action as we get ready to go racing once again. We head back down to the high banks of Lebanon Valley on Saturday night. Modified main event, modified feature number 2 on the 2013 season. And it was a cold night down in the valley, but it was some hot racing out on the oval. Here we go, lap number 1, starting up on the point. Andy Becchetti on the inside, the 77F of Mark Flack. Race side by side with the Flack attack up there in the fast lane off of turn turn number 4, Mark Flack would come around to lead lap number 1. The Wild Child right there with him. You look back through the field, see some great side-by-side racing. Here, Mark Flack gets a little bit wide, and that's all Andy Bicchetti needed to flex his muscles up on the front and pull away. So Andy Bicchetti, your early leader, Donnie Corellis and Kenny Tremont, the two Reifenberg Construction-sponsored automobiles, dueling and dicing it out down here into the West End banking. Eddie Marshall, the veteran, right back behind them. Up front, a classic confrontation. Andy Bicchetti and Brett Hearn. We've seen them race many, many times for the number 1 spot. They've got their own little rivalry going there, and Andy Bicchetti right now holding off the advances of the defending champion and opening night winner. Brett Hearn taking a look up on the high side, pulled a slingshot move off turn number 4, take the number 1 position away from the Wild Child, and here comes Andy right back at him down on the inside. Bicchetti digging down low, Hearn trying to take the lane away, but when they come off of turn number 2, Brett Hearn, your leader, heading back down that long Lebanon backstretch to turn 3. Here's the Wild Child trying a low line once again down here off of turn number 4, but to no avail as Hearn takes the number 1 spot back away. Tough night for the Kingfish. Mike King, the Toma Tire Armory sponsor number 55 car, slows to a stop, bringing the caution out. We re-rack and restack and bring him back to green. And the king of the restarts, you may as well call him that down at Lebanon, Andy Bicchetti is strong on the restarts. He pulled off the pass. Didn't last for long, though, as Brett the Jet goes right back to work up on the high side of the Speedway. Hearn dusting off the high line there off of turn number 4. Now Kenny Tremont pulls down to the inside of Andy Bicchetti. They'll race for the second spot, with Tremont eventually getting that position. Here's Brett Hearn trying to check out up on the front of the field here. Hearn was on rails en route to his second win of the season. Brett Hearn out in front and never seriously challenged again in this event. Here he's making his way back up through the pack, starting to put a number of cars down a lap, working the high side. When it was all said and done, win number 2. 2 wins and 2 starts for the defending champion, Brett Hearn. Kenny Tremont would finish in the runner-up position. He just went by right there. And Andy Bicchetti was 3rd. J.R. Hefner would finish 4th, and Donnie Corellis would round out your top 5. Modified action from the Valley of Speed. Brett Hearn, 2 for 2 at Lebanon Valley. As we said, the Utica Rome Speedway coming aboard. We thank Gene Cole for his support here in 2013. Gene Cole and crew out there at the Utica Rome Speedway. Here was the modified opener, the opening night at Utica Rome on Sunday night. Modified main event number 1 for 2013. A stellar field, as it is each and every Sunday night out there. Up on the front, here coming off of turn number 2 on the initial go-round. They worked their way down into turn number 3, and we got some great side-by-side racing starting right at the front here. About ready to look at 3 wide as Ronnie Johnson flexed his muscles early. Goes by Jason Rude for the number 1 position there off of turn number 4. Here they come again. We've got them side-by-side back through the pack at the Utica Rome Speedway, and always a couple of fast grooves around the track here. There's Billy Decker starting to make his way up through. Mike Mahaney in the number 4 car there. Mahaney working up on the high side of the Speedway. The Franklin Flyer, Billy Decker down on the inside of Stewart Friesen. As Friesen working on the high side, Decker on the inside, and Decker was fast all feature long. He is making his way up towards the front here. Got Mahaney ahead of him right now, dueling and dicing with the number 1 car of Stewart Friesen as they battle for position. There they're 3 deep. Super Matt down on the inside, Mahaney up on the outside. As they work down through the corner, Stewart working the middle lane as they work down off of turn number 4. Now working their way back down the backstretch here. Jason Rude up ahead of the Billy Decker and Stewart Friesen confrontation as they work down off of turn number 4. Notice you haven't seen much of Ronnie Johnson because he's about 60 feet in front of him, just off the turn number 2 here as they work off the corner. But that 60-foot margin, it wasn't going to last for long. As Billy Decker was on the charge, there's Billy's gypsum teammate, Pat Ward, always a strong runner at the Utica Rome Speedway as he works his way around the inside line. Pat Ward, always a strong competitor when the track goes to green here. Here is Ronnie Johnson putting Tim Fuller down a lap. Fuller had a tough night. He went down a lap here in the main event, working his way by modified rookie Rocky Warner. There's Rocky up ahead of Billy Decker now. As they work their way down off of turn number 2, Decker has now reeled in Ronnie Johnson. And reeling him in was one thing, getting by him was another, and he eventually would get by. As they come down here across the stripe, Billy Decker had his nose out in front of Ronnie Johnson. Here Decker is out front, Ronnie Johnson working the high side of the speedway, and Ronnie was on a mission. RJ on the way, up on the high side into turn number 3. Coming up on a slower car here off of turn number 4, Ronnie open lane on the high side. Billy Decker trying to pinch it down low, cost a little bit of momentum, and trying that low line once again. Little hiccup here off of turn number 2 allows Ronnie Johnson to get away up on the front. They worked their way down here in the late stages of the event. One little bobble by Decker, that's all it took. Ronnie Johnson posts the opening night victory. Ronnie gets the victory. Billy Decker comes home second. Stewart Friesen would finish third. Matt Shepard came across the line fourth. And Mike Mahaney rounded out your top 5 modifieds at Utica Rome Sunday night.
Heck of a job, man. You lost the lead for a minute. You didn't give up. You fought back. You got the win on opening day here at Utica Rome.
Yeah, I have to tell you, Billy Decker really made me race for that. I kept watching the board and seen that 91 moving up through there, and I watched Billy race ever since I've been a little kid. He kind of grew up in our race shop with my father, and Billy's a real good, clean racer. I knew it'd be a good race right to the end.
How nice is it to come out here on opening day and get a win here at Utica Rome?
It means a real lot, and I got to dedicate this win to Ed Kaiser, Carol's dad, who supports our race car. He come here every Sunday, and he was here every week watching the races, and we lost him this past week. And it's going to be an emotional win for Carol, but this one's for Ed and June and the whole Palmer family.
We'd like to express condolences to the Kaiser family from the Inside Northeast Racing crew. Now for this week's Off the Track segment.
My name is Mike Mallett for Inside Northeast Racing, standing here with 2012 track champion of Fonda Speedway and Utica Rome Speedway, Stewart Friesen. Stewart, night number 1 here at Utica Rome in the books. You got to be happy coming out here with a 3rd place finish.
Yeah, definitely. The weather's been pretty awful here the last couple weeks, and track crew did an amazing job getting this place in shape to race, and it's just going to get better from here on out.
Pretty good season so far here for you. You got a big win, I know, last weekend down at the 5 Mile Point Speedway. You got the win one from Marty Burdick, your former car owner that passed away in the offseason. How important was that to you?
It was real big. Everything we're doing with Marty's team with the 85 car is all stuff that Marty set up for us before he passed. So he made sure we were good with cars and motors and stuff. And he wasn't sure what was going to happen through the season, so he got us set up. So it's a big win for him, and just really thankful that I was able to spend as much time with him as I could.
No, your other team that you run for on Saturday nights down at the Fonda Speedway, you lost a win there early in the season at the Ice Jam with a flat tire, but now 2 in a row at the Track of Champions. Seems like you guys haven't skipped a beat there with Tad Parks.
Yeah, it's been really good. Really appreciate the ride that Tad's gives us there, and it's top-notch stuff. Great TO car, great JPM engine, and we had a lot of speed there last year, and we're just fine-tuning it, and we had a good race with Matty D last night, so it was cool to come out on top.
I know one of the big things here, not even racing related, but you finally got the approval to move into your house. How awesome is that?
Very cool. It's been pretty hectic the last couple weeks, so me and Jess are just trying to get everything settled out, and at the same time not taking anything away from the race cars. So we both spend a lot of time, in the garage on the cars, and and all the other cars that I'm fortunate enough to drive for too. So it's race season now, and we'll wait till the off season to do more work to it.
You mentioned, trying to juggle all the cars. How difficult does that get about mid-season when you're running, 3, 4, 5 nights a week?
It gets tough. It's pretty nice now. I can spend a couple days each week at everybody's shop and, kind of keep up on it. And then the summertime, we got, great crew help. Tommy Cullen and Mike Thurston take care of the Utica stuff. And, Lauren and Eric and Patrick go with me just about everywhere. So I got a really good depth of guys and great guys that we love hanging out together and spending time. And, we see a lot of each other through the summer. So it's good that we get along.
The team you're driving for on Friday nights, Albany, Saratoga, I'm going to drive for Jake Spurk. One of the things, the advertising that comes out of Albany, Saratoga kind of sets up a rivalry between you and Brett Hearn. What do you think about that?
I think it's cool. If they can use that to put a few more butts in the seats, I'm all for it. I get along pretty good with Brett, so there's no, ill wishes either way there. But it's fun, he's got a top-notch team, and being with Jake and his team, Mark Sullivan's the crew chief on that team, and it's cool that we can compete, at that level, and with a team like Madsen's put together for Brett, and Jake knows his stuff, so it's a cool opportunity there too.
How different is it for you to go back to Malta now? You ran at Malta when you had the Madsen ride originally, and now you've had a few years off, and now you have the chance to go back. You're a much more seasoned veteran now, and you've got a lot more wins under your belt.
Yeah, definitely. I remember that first year there in 04 with Madsen's. I hit just about everything and ripped tires off on the inside wall, and maybe that's the difference. I got rid of the inside wall, and now I'm going a lot better over there. So it's a lot of fun. It's close to home, and it's an awesome, intense, racy little place. So it's cool, and then we're just looking forward to finally getting the season going there.
Race season's here is starting to heat up. How excited are you just to get, you mentioned get everything going, get the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, the midweek stuff going?
Really excited. The beginning of the year stuff's cool. Ty Car, Trenchless Underground there came on for the Florida stuff and to help us out with the 85 throughout the year. So that was a lot of fun. We got to do, the big stuff at the beginning of the year, but it's a lot of traveling. So the 3 nights a week is a grind, but it's also a lot closer to home. So it's a trade-off, and we're really looking forward to, we have the speed. We've had some good finishes here the first couple weeks. So, we'll just keep fine-tuning stuff and hopefully, stay in the top 5.
Well, Stu, best of luck to you here in 2013.
All right. Thanks so much.
For Inside Northeast Racing, my name's Mike Mallett.
Continuing on with our race results from this past week, we'll take a trip back down to the Orange County Fair Speedway as they led off with a pace lap salute to the law enforcement agencies that were involved in the events that unfolded in Boston last week. Truly amazing as we watched that. The green flag would fly, and it was a quick lap 1 melee as they came down for the green. So we had a bit of a mishap to start off this main event. This was week number 2 down at the Orange County Fair Speedway. But when the green flag flew, the racing would resume, and some great racing once again down there, the newly configured Orange County Fair Speedway. And for those of you folks that did not see our segment a week ago, the barriers have been moved in at the entrance to the corners and have made for a wider racing surface. And as you can see off of turn number 4 there, 3 wide as they came down off of turn 4, carrying them 3 and almost 4 wide as they make their way down through the corner in turn 1. Bob McGannon, not a real good start to the night here as we go back to green. McGannon already has some bumps and bruises on his 21M car. Here we are down the backstretch. Mikey Kolka in the 21, the number 1 of Tim Heinley. Heinley on a mission here. And outside of him, last week's feature event winner, the 97 of Jerry Higbee. They come down under green, down across the line here, up into the corner, and continue to fan out side by side back through the pack. Big block modified action from the Orange County Fair Speedway. As they work their way down here into turn number 3, Heinley is on the charge, following Tommy Meyer with the 33 1/3. There's Bobby Varon with the 66, the Atlas Paving Machine, slow up on the outside. Varon, a new competitor down there, as a weekly competitor. Chris Schultz leading the way off of turn number 2 now, as they work their way down the backstretch. The 14, the new color combination, not necessarily colored, new number combination for the 14 of Richie Urich, as Urich now under fire from the number 1. Well, McGannon having a rough start. Well, that was where the finish was, in the outside wall, as he ends up, the 21 of McGannon, a retiree from the event. Jackie Brown Jr. with the 6 car working back there in the pack. Up front, one of the 93 cars. This is a 93H campaigned by the veteran, the Jeffer. Jeff Hetzler. And Hetzler right now under fire as he comes down off turn 4. Chris Schultz, the Liberty Rock crushing number 24 car, now going to make his way up here to challenge for the one of the top spots. Here's the number 1, Heinley on the charge once again, as Heinley trying to run down Schultz as they work their way here off of turn number 2. Down into turn number 3, Heinley taking the high line down into turn number 3. Schultz hugging the inside. And again, you can see that new configuration got a wider surface as they come off the corner, able to let Heinley pull back away. As they work up here into the corner on the outside, Schultz racing low, Heinley on the high side. Here's Heinley looking down low as they come down off of turn number 4. Out in front, the Jeffer showing the way. Jeff Hetzler would bring this one home as your victor. Checker flag flies. Jeff Hetzler gets the win. Tim Heinle finishes second. Craig Mitchell would finish third. Chris Schultz fourth. And the monster, Clinton Mills, rounding out your top 5.
Victory lane. Did you think you were ever going to get by Chris Schultz?
I knew my only shot was going to be on a restart, but we had the carburetor issue tonight. It stumbled every restart. So I had to time that one just right. And she lit. I kept her wound up on the top and was able to get alongside him on a straightaway. Then once I knew I got in the front, it would be hard to get around me because I was using it.
And we stay down at the Orange County Fair Speedway, the hard clay 358 modifieds on tap on Saturday night. Green flag is out. The 21 of Gary Edwards Jr. starts on the pole, quickly pulls out to an early lead here as they work their way down through turns 1 and 2. Down the backstretch now, and keep an eye on that number 66 car. Whoa, one car out of shape down off of turn number 4. That is the 33 of Chuck McKee. McKee, a little bobble there, cost him some positions on the speedway, but he gathers it back up. Here's Chris Schultz with the 24 on the move. Schultz had a good night in both divisions. You can see that widened racing surface allowing for some 4-wide action off turn 4. They're still side by side up towards the front. The black 21 car, that is Bob McGannon, as McGannon races there with the 84 of Mel Schrufer. They work their way down into turn number 3. Up on the outside, McKee working on the outside there, has gathered himself up and got his composure back, headed towards the front. Keep an eye on the Middletown Missile, working on the high side here, down through turns 1 and 2. Off of turn number 2, the Atlas Pavement 66. That is Scott Flammer behind the wheel of the 358 modified, the Petruska-owned automobile, as they work their way off of turn number 2 now. And again, we'll focus back in on Chuck McKee, as McKee exercising his muscle and showing his prowess here as the veteran, working down here into turn number 1. Here's some side-by-side action as the 21 of McGannon caught down on the inside. They worked their way down the backstretch. The 33, again, of Chuck McKee, trying to better his position. Here's the 21 of Gary Edwards Jr. out front, and Edwards got it on cruise up on the front. Never a real serious challenge for your leader, Edwards. Can't say that's the case from there on back, though, as here is the 33 of McKee working the 66 of Flammer over for the runner-up position. The 21 of Gary Edwards Jr. would be your winner. Edwards gets the win. Chuck McKee would come home second. Bob McGannon would finish third. Scott Flammer and Chris Schultz round out your top 5 in the 358 mods at Orange County. Taking a look ahead this week, got some more tracks opening on Friday night, starting off with Gary Palmer's Ulster County Bull Ring, the Accord Speedway. Also, the Great Race Place, the Albany-Saratoga Speedway, opening up on Friday night, as will the Glen Ridge Motorsports Park under new management. Pete Demitrazic kicking the gates open up at the Ridge, and we would like to wish the best of luck to all the drivers and all the teams and the tracks themselves. Here's the Friday night events unfold for 2013. And one more event to reflect on from last week's action. We go back to the Fonda Speedway, the Track of Champions modified main event. Green flag flies as they come down into turn number 1. The 16 of A.J. Romano bringing him to the green. The number 3D of Matt DiLorenzo, the opening day winner, the Ice Jam winner it was. He comes alongside and takes the number 1 spot away from the 16 of Romano. Romano caught down on the inside there, allows Matty D to clear up on the high side. Matt DiLorenzo going to the point. Enter the Canadian sensation, the number 1 car of Stewart Friesen. Your third place man here in the early going, Mr. Freeze, trying to run down your lead duo. He works the outside of A.J. Romano here, working up on the high side of the speedway, and back to third goes Romano. And the number 1 of Friesen now looking to pick up one more position. Trying to pick that one more spot up on Matt DiLorenzo, a little easier said than done. He'll pull up and looked like he was going to pull even down into turn number 3. They go into turn number 3. He'll slide up. DiLorenzo trying to pull the crossover move here off of turn number 4, back down to the inside. When they hit the line, it's DiLorenzo by a bumper, and they race side by side from there. Matty D in the BBL ShopRite number 3D car, showing the way down the backstretch, the number 1. The Tad Parks owned automobile working there in the runner-up position. Friesen up on the outside of DiLorenzo. He'll clear him off of turn number 4 here as they race back down into turn number 1. Matt DiLorenzo now sees Stewart Friesen starting to put a little bit of distance between himself and the 3D car. Stewart takes over the number 1 position as they work their way here back through traffic. Hey, you think you're seeing double? The Palmer Service Center, number 76 cars. 2 cars right together there. Alton Palmer in the 76, Ronnie Johnson in the 76A car as they work their way down here side by side. Had to make Carol happy. I'm sure they worked their way down off of turn number 4 and had blinked once or twice to figure out which one was which. They worked their way down through the turns 1 and 2 now, closing in on the 16 of A.J. Romano. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the number 1 car up on the front, Stewart Friesen, showing away here off of turn number 4. Friesen going to bring him down across the line. Stewart Friesen first to see checkers as Stewart comes down across the line, finish on the point. Finishing in second spot would be the 3D of Matt DiLorenzo, Stewart Friesen, making his way out of the automobile. Friesen, a modified feature event winner at Fonda Speedway on Saturday night. Stewart Friesen was the winner, followed across the line by Matt DiLorenzo. Josh Hohenforce finished 3rd, Jeff Trombley 4th, and Ronnie Johnson rounded out the top 5. You've been watching Inside Northeast Racing, sponsored by Utica Rome Speedway, the New York State Stock Car Association, Tinley Seal Coating, and Jack's Used Race Car Parts and more. Inside Northeast Racing is a Northeast Racing Videos production in association with Bobco Video and Metro Media Video Productions. Northeast Racing Video, your 24/7 racing connection on the World Wide Web. Until next week, this is Dan Martin saying, see ya.